You've got two viewers here. Who have we got? Hello, Jamie. All right. I think you've been on one of my live streams before, haven't you? I'm pretty sure I was speaking to a Scottish person maybe a couple months ago. I think I was talking to you about Edinburgh, going up there last Christmas. It was very cool to that Christmas. So, who have we got? We got three viewers. Who else is here? Yeah, that's right, Jamie. I remember now you was talking about Amiga. I think I'm actually part of an Amiga Scotland group on Facebook, and every now and again I'll post in video I've uploaded for Amiga stuff. So who else have we got here? So yeah, I decided to do live streams around this time. If anyone's listening who's been in live streams before, it's very odd for me because uh, main audience is in America, and also I've got audience actually in the UK as well. But it's just very tricky to kind of get everyone together at the same time. You quit Facebook a few years ago. That's actually pretty brave of you. Not many people have got the willpower to do that. There's something strange about social media. As bad as it is, people constantly use it. And that's why we're so antisocial nowadays, and we don't really like chatting in public. Social media has kind of decivilized us, something like that. So who else have we got here? Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I thought I would organise a live stream earlier on today around what's it, 2, 3 o'clock this afternoon. I thought I'd give the UK audience and people a bit closer to Britain um, a bit more of a heads up. Normally, I give people something like half an hour notice, so I thought let's avoid people getting disappointed, which people said in the past. Oh, I missed it, and give people some chance. Hello, $1 American. Good evening. Good morning. So yeah, what I'm gonna do, I'll just leave it 5 minutes, and we're gonna see what everyone's up to, what you want from the channel, and I'm gonna make some notes of it as I did a couple of nights ago. So yeah, for those who watching what I upload, you'll notice I'm doing a lot of long plays at the moment. You either love them or hate them, but I think it also gives people a chance to look at some games which have been totally forgotten about. I uploaded one the other day, something Ninja Baseball Batman, which is a very cool arcade game. Uploaded one a couple of days ago or so, like a manga anime type game. Yo, Heavy Instinct, good to see you. So everyone's talking about old school retro stuff. Is anyone aware of new school homebrew for retro platforms? Myself, Jamie, you probably remember I was talking to you about the Commodore scene a little while back. I think I was talking about modern day games for Commodore computers. So where is everyone? We've got Jamie C. You're in Scotland. $1 American. Let me guess, you're in America. And Heavy Instinct. I know the name, and you've been in live streams before, but I just can't think where you're from. It's just good to know where people was chatting from. Yeah, Jamie just said you're near Glasgow, but Edinburgh's a lovely city. Yeah, it is a really nice place. I'm actually talking about going there again with my partner this Christmas. I don't know if it will happen or no. Just can't really afford it at the moment. But yeah, I'd love to come back to Edinburgh again. If you remember, obviously you're in Scotland. Edinburgh last Christmas, last December, it was so cold. Like even the locals said how cold it was, like really icy. Wisconsin, USA. I can't pronounce that properly. Wisconsin, USA. So let me just give everyone a heads up. Um, I don't want to sound presuming, but if anyone wants to send super thanks or whatever, please don't do it through YouTube. The reason being, like I've said in the past, is that YouTube takes a hell of a lot of the money away, and I've used the money just to spur me on, get new downloadable content and make videos, that type of thing. Obviously PayPal, it's direct, and YouTube they hold the money and they deduct money, and it's a real pain in the arse. Like I said, I don't want to sound presuming, but if anyone did want to do it, then please PayPal it. So what I'm going to do, anyways, is just give it another couple of minutes, and I'm going to start asking questions, or you can ask me questions, or whatever. Really, it's just about retro chat. So whilst we're waiting for a little bit of chat, I might have showed you this website in the past. I was just talking about homebrew games. I love this website. This is itch.io. As you can see just here, we got actually got a new ZX Spectrum or ZX Spectrum, ZX Spectrum Next game, which has just come out a few days ago. I was going to do a gameplay video on it, but I just thought got around to it. If you're not sure what the ZX Spectrum Next is, the ZX Spectrum next is with the blessing of Clive Sinclair, I believe. It's like a modern iteration of ZX Spectrum, and they're like gold dust to get hold of. They're very rare to get hold of, and they're very expensive. But anyways, itch.io is a very cool website. Totally recommend it. Just type into the search bar at the top. I don't know. Let's just type in NES, and more likely, you'll find modern day Nintendo NES games, and there's several on here. Some's free, and some's not. It's like, for example, we got this. I can never pronounce this game, but I played this on C64, and it's really good. It looks like it's just been ported onto the NES as well. Totally decent game, and I highly recommend this one. It's really cool. Not sure what it's like on the NES though. Warcraft 2. Yeah, they were really big years ago, maybe around 2000, early 2000s. I think Mr. T was advertising it at the time, and that was probably the height of Warcraft. Yeah, Mr. T from the 18 BA Baracus. Yeah, he was still with Snickers adverts at the time. I think they're called Marathon actually nowadays. Yeah, you know what, Heavy Instinct? I think a lot of people spends more time customizing stuff than actually playing games. So it seems. Obviously something like Retro FE or Attract mode, guaranteed you're going to spend about an hour on that. uh, doing something just to make something work. So you're spending less time playing games than you are setting it up. And you know what? Whilst I'm talking about homebrew games, I've got another website. This is a German publisher. Just trying to think what they're called. It's Protovision. So Protovision software is German, like I say, and mainly they specialize in C64 games, like modern day C64 games. Pig Quest is a fairly new game, which is a very awesome game, but they've just ported over to Nintendo NES Sam's Journey. Sam's Journey came out a few years ago, and I think they're doing it on Nintendo NES now as well. So Protovision is worth checking that out if you fancy playing something new for an older system. Pity the Fool, I remember a show on BBC Three. Yeah, I was watching the 8 team when I was very young. I think the 8 team it lasted until around 1987, 1988. So when I was watching it personally, it was likely reruns of it, or yeah. But I used to love it. But every now and again, it is fun. It's fun, but cheesy fun. Turns out that Hannibal, George Pepper, who plays Hannibal in the 8 team, he hated Mr. T. Absolutely hated him because, a bit like Guns N' Roses, Slash is getting all the attention. At times, is the musician of the band. Well, that's the problem with the 8 team cast, is that Mr. T was taking a spotlight from George Pepper's. And George Pepper, he was known to drink as well, so wasn't a good combination. And Mr. T also had a song or two out in the 80s as well. Can't think what they was called, but there's that one vinyl, like it's in songs. And then obviously you had Knight Rider as well, probably around the same time, and that was David Hasselhoff's breakout series. Good times for TV back then. Can't say much about TV today, but I don't think many people can, to be honest. Louisiana. Yeah, the Mr. T show you're talking about, it was a lot like You've Been Framed. It was called I Pity the Fool. I'm pretty sure it was I Pity the Fool. Let's have a quick look. I used to watch that myself, and I personally watched it just for Mr. T. Um, was it called I Pity the Fool? Yeah, it was. I Pity the Fool. Totally forgot about that until you just said. But yeah, you're right. A lot like You've Been Framed, that type of thing. So $1 American. What is your best emulation system? Now there's several ways you can look at this. If you want an easy life and you want everything done for you, then without a doubt, retrobat is the way to go. If you want some a bit more customizable, and you're prepared to put some work into it, then totally recommend something like a tract mode. But a tract mode isn't for the faint-hearted. A tract mode is literally about editing text documents, that type of thing. Yeah, in Rocky 3, Mr. T, trying to think of his character's name in Rocky 3. Me and partner was watching them a while back, all of the Rocky films. They're superb. Not watched the Creed films. I think I started watching the first one. I just couldn't get into it. Sylvester Stallone's character is just amazing. Really good films. And even Balboa was a good film. I really liked that when that came out. Clubber Lang, yeah, that's the one. Yeah, Clubber Lang. He was really pissed off in Rocky 3, like big time pissed off. Like absolutely went ape with Sylvester Stallone in the media and everything in that film, where people was getting into his face. Personally, I had a soft spot for I think it was Rocky 4, where he's fighting the Soviet Union with Dolph Lundgren as his opponent. Of course, that was during, I suppose, the Cold War era. So, well, can't really say much difference right now with Russia and the rest of the world. But yeah, back then it was the height, I suppose, of the Cold War. So Russia and America, it was I hate each other, but it's always been like the same, I suppose. I've got a Google TV box with retroarch. You know what? A little while back, we bought a new TV. It's got games on it, so I searched for it. It's actually got retroarch. I did a retroarch setup guide for smart TVs, and surprisingly, it works really well as well. Hey, no problems, asbestos. Um, yeah, someone was just saying to me a minute ago, asbestos. You know what front ends do you recommend? So I always recommend retrobat, simply for beginners because retrobat everything's in one package. You don't really need to do much messing around. You drag your games into folders and it's pretty straightforward to do. Having said that, systems on retrobat obviously aren't all the same. Things get a bit more technical with, say, teknoparrot and PlayStation 3 or PCS 3. But yeah, generally retrobat it's one of the easiest systems. Obviously, you've got Emulation Station, desktop edition, which I've covered. I got a playlist for Emulation Station. It's in its infancy, really. It came out around a year and a half ago, I think it was. But Emulation Station, desktop edition, it's kind of going to be, or it already is actually, what Retrobat is, and it's going to get better, getting updates, that type of thing. And then you've got EmuDeck for Windows. That's a little bit of a kerfuffle. EmuDeck, you need to have Steam installed, and it's a lot of faffing around. So EmuDeck is okay, but for a simpler life, Emulation Station or Retrobat definitely. You know what? Talking about Sylvester Stallone, I was actually playing Rambo earlier on, Rambo 3, the arcades game. Never played it before. Uh, Probably came out, yeah, probably around the time Rambo 3 did, what, 87, 88 ish. Really bad film, but the game, the arcades game, was really good. It's a lot like the game Cable, which I uploaded a long play up the other day. It's a really good game, but I just gave up. I think it was the last mission on it, and it was just hell. It's one of those games where you die and you respawn if you insert coins. Apart from the last mission on it in Rambo 3, literally, if you die, you got to put more coins in, then you got to start it all over again. A lot like Cable, and I'd be surprised if it wasn't made by the same people. So, yeah, what is it people's wanting from Just Jamie? What is it? I've got a little list here, a little text document. If I open it up, someone asked me the other day for a guide for Sega Saturn Chronos for Retrobat, which I uploaded already the other day by that request. Someone the other day randomly asked me for Tiger Electronic Games for Emulation Station Desktop Edition, which I've not yet done, and also in television RetroArch. So if anyone's got any ideas, or if anyone here wants particular guides, let us know in the comments, and I'll add it to the list. Okay, other front ends I've done on my channel is Noslan. Noslan, it's maintained or been developed by a single person. You got to pay for a premium version of it, and it's not actually that bad. So if anyone's looking to try out different front end systems, always look at my playlist on that. MIDI sound fonts in retrobat for DOS Pure. MIDI sound fonts. Let's see. Do you know anything about how to make light guns work on various systems? It seems like most of the people who have figured it out want to charge money for it. Okay, so what type of systems do you mean? Heavy Instincts, are you a retrobat user? Hello, Gustavo. How are you doing? So yeah, let's just say Heavy Instinct. It's definitely on another level when you start getting into more advanced systems, more dependencies. Yeah. All right. So talking about light gun games on front ends, it really depends which system it is because uh, let's just find out first. Heavy Instinct, is it retrobat you're using for this? And if it is retrobat, okay, so retrobat. So different systems, obviously arcade systems, have different ways of setting up light gun support. Generally, let's just say, for example, inside a retrobat, you want to play a light gun game for let's see, MAME or say Model 2 or Model 3 Sega, it's normally a case of going into your folder, MAME for example, and dropping down to controllers. Take a look at controllers or take a look at the tab in Retrobat which says controls. So yeah, really it depends on the system. Other systems you might have to go into the emulators themselves to configure. And is it also a real light gun you're asking for? So what I was planning on doing a little while back, talking about light guns, I was actually gonna get a light gun so I could do a video on it, but it's kind of like a very niche audience, and yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people from the scene they prefer using controller, like an Xbox controller, for these games. You've got retro shooter light guns. See, I can't really help much there. I can't actually see it being that technical. People who's charging money to give you a bit of advice to set a light gun up, that's not right. Um, is it USB light guns or is it something like wireless? You know what? Like I say, since I don't actually have a light gun, and we're looking at retrobat, normally what I suggest doing if I've not covered it, let's just type into Google retrobat light guns. You've got information just here from the retrobat wiki. There's a lot of information just there you can check out yourself. So it actually says supported controllers at the top, so it could be a chance that retrobat doesn't actually support your particular light gun. Someone actually said the other day they had a Sinden light gun, which is listed just there, as you can see. But anyways, what I'll do is just copy that and paste it into the chat just there, so you can go to that and take a look at yourself. But something around light guns, it is something I need to cover at some point. Like I said, I just don't have a light gun. Um, and I assume that most people out there use their Xbox controllers or PlayStation controllers. So Demule shooter, if that's what they call it, Demule is actually a multi-emulator for arcade systems by Sega. I've actually covered Demule as a standalone emulator. You can also use Demule inside a retrobat. I'm pretty sure you can. Uh, so like I say, I can't really help much in terms of setting up a proper light gun for you. All I can say is that you've got the retrobat wiki there, and Damiel is a multi-emulator for arcade systems, which retrobat also utilizes on some systems. Okay, so let's just go back. We got Spustos Gaming. Could you do something about setting up MIDI sound fonts in retrobat? So MIDI, so sound. I'm not actually sure what you mean by that. So obviously the Atari ST was known for MIDI, and I suppose old PCs were as well. Sort of, but it's not really something I cover much on my channel. Music programs. It should be. I should do something about that at some point. So yeah, I think that's what I might aim towards at some point. I'm actually going to buy a light gun, and since I do a lot of guides for retro, but I'll probably end up getting one of the Sindons, depending on the cost of it. I'm not sure, but by the looks of it, Retrobat uses several different type of light guns, including the uh, Wiimote. By the looks of it. So, who else have we got here this evening or this morning in the UK? So, any more British people here? So we got someone from Scotland, which is Jamie C. And yeah, anyone else from anywhere else in the world? Oh, I see what you mean. So, yeah, you're trying to run a game asbestos. Trying to run a game, and obviously DOS games, you have different options for different sound cards, I suppose. It's not something I've looked at in specific, to be honest, to you, but it's in RetroArch, so you're running DOSBox Pure inside of RetroArch. I've not looked at it for quite some time, DOS in RetroArch, but if you go into quick menu, you might have a option for sound. Have you tried looking at that? Yeah, Danny. So, yeah, at some point I was just saying, Sindon Light Gun. It has had some good reviews. I've heard people talking about it from in the past. Hello, Wolfman. Whereabouts in the UK are you? I just randomly had a thought then a CB radio. Not sure why, but a bit strange, really. So, asbestos. Whereabouts in England are you? Just interesting to see where people are from. Someone said to me earlier on, actually, commented in, he had a bit of an issue with the way I speak. He said I couldn't pronounce my T's, they sound more like F's. And he tried to get other people involved on this old YouTube video I done. And it's like, why are you trying to bring other people into it? Why don't you just ask me directly why I speak like this? So, well, literally, I'm from the south of England. And in the south of England, we speak a bit like farmers. Now, where T's and F's are concerned, that's not the problem. The south of England is more about your R's and stuff like that. We sound like farmers, hence why people from Somerset and Bristol were known as farmers. Manchester, cool. Oh, Shropshire, Shrewsbury, home of Charles Darwin, I think, wasn't it? And you're from Surrey originally. Hello, Shade Tempest, how you doing? So yeah, if you just come in, it's really just a random chat, really, and seeing what people want to see on the channel. Quite frankly, I am sick to death of retrobat. Absolutely sick of it. If you're new to my channel and you hear me say that, you'll think that's not very welcoming. I've been covering retrobat pretty much since I started the channel, and I'm sick of it. Really sick to death of retrobat. So every now and again, I will drop a new setup guide if retrobat gets an update with some new emulators or whatever. But I mean, yeah, my retrobat playlist, I've done some at like 145 guides. I'm sick to death of it. From the Netherlands. Cool. A lot of retrobat drama. If you're looking for retrobat drama, check out their forums. They're notorious for unnecessary drama. The admins on there, man, they're a bit yeah, they're not wonderful. And I'm not alone with that. The retrobat forums, yeah. Yeah, asbestos. Yeah, but like I said, I've done it to death. Retrobat, literally. I'm sick to death of retrobat, and it's literally quite the case of if there's a particular setup guide for retrobat you want, I've likely done it. Um, but retrobat gets updated every 2 to 3 months, something like that, with new versions. And normally you got new cores added, new emulators added. So it's not like I'm never going to be doing them again, but in the early days of my channel, I was uploading 2 or 3 retro back guides every day, something stupid like that. And I did it too much um, in a small space, short space of time, I suppose. Yeah, you know what, Shade, I look at batocera a little bit like retrobat, and it is virtually the same. Only, obviously, batocera works only if you flash it and turn on your computer, whereas retrobat, it's literally the same. It's just running through Windows. And people will ask me from time to time, they say, what's the best? What's the fastest? Batocera, retrobat, or launchbox? Personally, I've not tested it, but I would likely say Batocera will be the quickest, simply because Batocera is based on Linux. Uh, Obviously, Retrobat on Windows. Windows is very heavy with what is processed in the background, with all your visuals, that type of thing, aesthetics. You, Jamie. Whereas Batocera, Linux is obviously more of a lightweight system compared to Windows. So, yeah, Batocera probably the quickest to boot up. Well, you know what, Shade? I don't think it's any um lie that most people who's joined the Retrobat forum is had quite a bad experience, and I don't blame them. I've said it before. I'm not being big-headed, but I don't know. Retrobat was obviously a thing before I came along, and it was. But I done a lot for that development team for Retrobat, and the way they treated me in the past, they like almost like talk to me like they owned me. It's like, whoa, whoa, whoa! I'm not your employee, man. I'm like here to do setup guides. I'm not working with you, but they're actually telling me what I could and could do almost, and it's like, what idiots, man? Like proper. Oh, thanks, Danny. Nice one. Yeah, Shade, you know what? That's odd you say the Batacera community is really good because someone's actually said that before to me, not yourself, but I remember someone else saying it on the live stream about the Batacera community. Um, Issue is with Retrobat is they're very rude to people and they'll very easily use the language barrier card to excuse their poor way of speaking to people. Uh, yeah, I've got no time for them. But that's not a reason why I'm not doing retrobat. That's just like I said, I've exhausted retrobat setups. So, Danny, yeah, Launchbox is a system I need to start doing some more guides for. Obviously, I've done a playlist for Launchbox. I'm a Launchbox user myself, and I really can't recommend it enough. Obviously, you get what you pay for in life, and Launchbox is a premium front end. Um, you know what, Shade? In terms of not in terms of not downloading retro, but I wouldn't go that far. At the end of the day, if those idiots want to treat people like morons, well, that's up to them. Uh, it, you know, okay. Okay, so yeah, like I say, Launchbox, I highly recommend it. I've done a video in the past on why I think Launchbox and Big Box are the best, is the best. Many different reasons. It might cost money, and you also pay for Emu movies to download more preview videos for your game systems. But yeah, if you want something really nice in life, it costs money. And I think a lot of people in the emulation retro community, they expect everything for nothing, quite literally, uh, to the point where they watch my setup guides, then ask where the files are. And if I don't tell them, they have a go at me. And it's like, I know we live in a society in a world nowadays where everyone wants something for nothing, but come on, you know? That's okay, Jamie. People can be jerks, and you know, it's like a lot of things. You'll get a lot of decent, genuine people, but you always get an idiot or two. It is. Jamie C, have you actually tried using Launchbox as a front end outside of Exodus? Like I said, I really can't recommend it enough. You know, people ask me from time to time about Hyperspin, and these days, Launchbox Big Box, which is a premium version, is pretty much like a modern equivalent, only it's just not so much faffing around. Yeah, you know what, Danny? I actually took out a annual subscription, but like I say, I use it and I've been using it for just under a year. And when it comes to renewing it, I'll probably go for a lifetime subscription myself. Is yeah, I really like that front end. Legit, I had to rebrand a few times. So come on, people, what are we wanting? Yeah, you know what, asbestos, you know exactly what I'm saying. It's like, give me that, give me this, give me that, give me this. It's like, whoa, whoa, wait a minute, man. I don't know you. I don't owe you no favors. I'm not giving you nothing. So, yeah, what are we looking for? Is there anything anyone wants from the channel at all? Is there anything, Launchbox included, anything I've not covered yet? So let's just take a look at my playlists to give someone some inspiration. What have I done? Retrobat, obviously. In fact, my Retrobat playlist has had 12 over 12,000 views at this point. That's how long I've been doing it. Yeah, so let's see, Jamie C. We got Launchbox. Launchbox. I've done a fair few Launchbox setup, guys. Like I say, I've got a playlist on that. And game streams, it's not a bad idea. I hear about Twitch, but I've not really looked into it yet, to be honest. But I know live streams, live gaming streams are popular, but I don't know. You know, the problem is what happens if I'm really bad at a game? You know, people might laugh at me. And legend has it that in the early days of my channel, the mother of my children used to laugh at me, but you know what? She used to encourage her friends at the time to take the piss out of my channel. I don't see her around anymore laughing about it. Okay, so Launchbox, MAME, and FB Neo. Do you mean Launchbox, MAME, or is in playing games like MAME and Neo Geo? Well, you know, in the early days, I didn't have many subscribers, and you got to start somewhere. So back in the day, um, I started uploading some really random stuff just to make my kids laugh. Really, this woman, the mother of the children, she made up a lot of bull crap about me. Uh, Anyway, won't get into that, but yeah, she used to encourage people to take the piss out of my channel. Right? Like I said, she isn't around laughing anymore. In fact, she calls it more of a career to me nowadays, or something. I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but good day, mate. Short car, I take it. You're in Oz. So how many people we got viewing? We got 17 people. Yeah, Shade, you honestly wouldn't believe the bollocks that woman has said about me and my family and my partner and pretty much anyone in my family. Likely my nan, and she died back in 2005, so even my nan probably did some. One of those assholes who's got to put everyone down and feed the kids a load of stuff which has never happened. So you know, narcissist. Actually, that's the name of it. A bit like Donald Trump. She's one of these people who never does any wrong. She's almost like a godlike figure. So, uh, George, if you're new to my channel, I don't provide links. I might sound a bit like a arse saying that, but no, like there is something you can use online. It's you search for things. Personally, I use Google, and what I do is just type in what it is I'm looking for, and that's how. I don't want to be funny, but that's how you do it. I think I could be wrong though. But you've got a variety of what's called web browsers. You've got Microsoft Edge, you've got Google, you've even got Tor if you want to be a bit more covert what you're doing online. Uh, you've got a multitude just there. But normally, what you do, you type into the search engine, say neogeo.zip. Yeah, I'm just taking a mic now, aren't I? But yeah, it's quite funny. You know what? People they'll say to me from time to time. They'll ask me, "Where do you get ROMs? Where do you get ROMs?" And I'm like, "Come on, man! A PlayStation 3 game, it's not a ROM. A teknoparrot game isn't a ROM. People's got pet hate in life, and that's one of mine." A bit like when people said in the past a Commodore 64 is a console. It's like, no, no, it really isn't. It's a computer. Come on. Internet Archive. I'm not sure what that is, asbestos, but funny enough, someone was asking me or commented the other night about a website called Archive. I've no idea what it is. No idea. But whatever it is, I hope it's cool. So it's just a case of looking for stuff. Like I said in the past, providing links, that type of thing. I know some YouTubers do it. I don't do it. And the reason I don't do it is because I like my channel, and obviously that type of thing. It's technically against YouTube policies. I don't want to sound like a square or anything like that, but some things in life you got to obey, and that's one of them. Oh, lots of abandonware. Oh, I see what you mean. And basically just everything on the internet. I think that's where the internet time capsule is actually. I'm thinking of Archive now, and I'm pretty sure they own the internet time capsule where you can type in something like MySpace from the year 2003 and find a picture of me with a lip piercing and stuff, probably. I don't know. I still get mine on floppy disk at the car boot. You know what, Jamie? If you can find a bargain of this day and age for old computers at a car boot sale, fair play to you. Personally, for me, I gave up years ago with car boot sales. The best time for me was definitely the early 1990s. Just coming out of that microcomputing era of the 80s, everyone's moving on to consoles at that point, Nintendo NES, SNES. So people couldn't get rid of them at the time, and I had some absolute bargains. Okay, so there is some websites being mentioned, but really I have no idea what these are. So uh, use these websites at your own risk. But yeah, whatever. Retro Maniacs. Yeah, Heavy Instinct. I'm actually on that group myself. I think they got some like 18,000 followers on there. I do post in there from time to time. I've not seen a car boot in years, to be honest. Well, the trouble is with car boot sales is that there's too many dealers, and you know in the early 90s there was dealers, and they ruin it for fans. They don't want to miss out on lose. They don't want to lose a penny or a cent. Literally, I've got no time for dealers at all. Really don't. I think they ruin the community big time, and they just make it just a bit horrible. So I was gonna do a video the other day. Actually, I've been planning on doing. Yeah, cool. Yeah, I was gonna do a video the other day on my favorite YouTubers. I've just got round to it yet, but obviously it's gonna be uh mainly retro gaming stuff. But I think I mentioned it before. We got Metal Jesus Rocks. That's one of my personal favorites. Obviously you've got AVO or Cinemassacre, whose character is Angry Video Game Nerd, who was pretty much the inventor of episodes on YouTube. He's been on YouTube since since I started using it. Yeah, you know what, Shade? I keep looking for Batocera 40 as well. So Batocera 39 came out, I think it was around February, March. But when it came out, I did a setup guide on it for the Steam Deck and also on computer. So we got a beta right now for Batocera 40, but we've not actually got a stable for it. So I'd say likely it'll be released in the next month. Yeah, asbestos. I used to go to car boot sales literally religiously every Sunday with my dad and sometimes with my brother, but he was a bit older than me and he was more like a teenager. He couldn't be bothered to get out of bed on Sunday. So back in the day, my dad used to take me and my brother to judo, which I loved. And shortly after that, we gave up judo, I suppose, and then started going to boot sales. Really cool stuff. Yeah, Steam Deck is very cool. Really good. I did have one a little while back, but didn't really use it a great deal. I put a lot of work into it. I actually had for Christmas from my partner a new case for it, a new shell, which was really nice. It was like a red metallic shell. I actually did a video on it in my Steam Deck playlist. And literally, to put a new case, a new shell on the Steam Deck, you've literally got to annihilate it. Like, literally take every tiny little piece out in order to put the new case in. And you get halfway through it, you think, oh my God, man, this is a lot of money I'm dealing with here if I mess this up. But thankfully, I did it. So I wouldn't recommend doing that to your Steam Deck unless you've got 100% confidence in doing what you're doing because it gets very technical with those tiny little screws. Yeah, so Legion goes very popular, I believe. So Oracle, is there a way to run a version of Batacera on PC without booting your PC? Not that I know of. Not that I know of. Um, I was saying just now actually that retrobat pretty much is Batacera. But obviously Batacera would likely run faster because it's based on Linux, whereas retrobat's Windows. You also got, obviously on Steam Deck, you've got the main retro emulation system, which is EmuDeck. There's also Retro Deck, and I did cover that just before I got rid of my Steam Deck, and it wasn't that bad. Yo, Inferno, good to see you here again. Dual booting. So yeah, talking about dual booting, I mean, you could partition a hard drive to say, well, have half and half. You could have your Windows on one partition and then batocera on the other side. I've never tried it, but I'd imagine it would work. So Inferno, you was here the other night, weren't you? I think. Pretty sure I recognised your name for a couple of nights ago. You know what? It's incredible. I've been here talking non-stop for almost an hour, and my mouth is just literally beginning to dry out. I had some milk just now, but I drank most of it before getting this far, so now I'm pretty dried out. So what I'm going to do, I'm happy to stay, really happy to stay and chat because that's the way I rule. But what I'm going to do is just go off for a couple of minutes, and I'll be back, and I'm just happy to chat, really. Before I do go for a little break for a couple of minutes, just to get some water and just use the toilet, what I do suggest, Steam Deck wise, the original Steam Decks are cheap at the moment. I wouldn't say cheap, but they're a lot cheaper than what they were. Reason being is obviously you've got the Steam Deck OLED out, which it's got better battery life on it and it's got a better screen as well. So, for an extra, what, 40, £50 or 40, $50, you might consider getting an OLED instead. Obviously, it's newer. Uh, and the hardware side of the OLED model is a bit more superior as well. But anyways, what I'm going to do, I'm going to just go off for 2 minutes and chat with yourselves, and I will be back in 2 minutes. And stay retro for now, but I say that at the end of videos, but I'm going to be back. So yeah. Right. Okay, we are back. Let me just check my OBS. Yeah, cool. So, what's everyone talking about? Uh, duh, duh, duh. Wireless versus wired. It's not actually that bad. I used to think the same thing. I use Xbox controller, and it's literally just a case of pairing it with the computer, and it's pretty simple. I think years ago it was a lot more complicated, but uh, yeah. So what's everyone playing at the moment? Yeah, I had an 8-bit do myself. I had a Super Nintendo clone, I suppose you could call them clones, but not. Yeah, they're pretty good 8-bit do's, and I'm pretty sure 8-bit do, or however you pronounce that, I call it 8-bit do. Uh, they recently produced a Commodore keyboard, like a mechanical keyboard, like really old school. I know a lot of cool kids, they seem to think mechanical keyboards are something new, but as most of us old schoolers know, they go way back, probably to the 70s. So, yeah, I like 8-bit do. But to be honest, I'm just happy with an Xbox controller. F-Zero X in AX, yeah, that's on Triforce, isn't it? Personally, I'm really enjoying sort of late 1980s arcades games at the moment. I was saying earlier on, I was playing Rambo 3, the arcades game earlier on. I played it on the C64 as a kid, and yeah, it was okay, but the arcades game is very different. It's almost like a cable shoot 'em up, almost Operation Wolf, Thunderbolt type style game. Yeah, they do. Mechanical keyboards are really nice, like really nice. And then I suppose come the early 2000s, around 2005-ish, you started seeing more of these cheaply made membrane type keyboards, which we've still technically got today. So the laptop I'm recording this on right now, streaming on, it's got a membrane keyboard. If you know what I mean, just not mechanical. So yeah. Yeah, Doom. In fact, Asbestos, I was actually reading the other day, there is a new Doom game in the works. So, I think I said this before the stream. When the first Doom remake came out, what, 10 years ago? No, probably more like 15 years ago. Uh, the trailer for it came out on YouTube at the time, and you got all these like kids at the time like saying, "Oh my god, this is pretty extreme." It's like, yeah, man, welcome to proper gaming. This isn't no Call of Duty affair, is it? Then obviously Doom Eternal was just amazing. So hopefully, the new Doom will be just as good. The reason why there's a pause at the moment, I watch a YouTuber called the Punk Rock MBA, and he does a lot of music history type stuff, and he was actually talking about the music in Doom in the remakes. And it was somewhat along the lines of the music creator for the new Doom games. He was getting underpaid, and somewhat along those lines. That's why there's a hold on the new one. Medieval themed. Is that right? Um, but yeah, if anyone here is into music, like I am, me personally, I'm into late 70s, 80s. Punk rock MBA is one of my favorites. You know, he does everything from, say, the Beastie Boys to, uh, uh, well, Doom. Literally random stuff. He uploads every few days. A really good channel. Evercade. Playing the Capcom handheld Evercade. Yeah. So, yeah, is there anything? We got some more viewers now. Is there anything anyone wants me to cover which I've not done yet? Hello, Jason. What do you mean you're waiting for it to rebuild? Yeah, asbestos. I've done a lot of guitar stuff on the channel. I've been in bands in the past, but I always said when I was a lot younger, by the time I reach 40, I'd just give it up. And I have, it's like, I think if you're hoping to get anywhere in the music industry at 40 years old, it's very unlikely. So that's how I look at it personally. So is there anything yeah you want to see on the channel? Like I said earlier, a lot of you here probably noticed I'm doing a lot of long plays. Is there any games in particular anyone wants to see long throughs, playthroughs of? Yeah, so if you're an old school hip hop fan, you probably like a bit of Run DMC and Beastie Boys yourself. And that's what the punk rock MBA was talking about, the progression, the evolution of hip hop through the 80s, through, Beastie Boys, obviously, they went a bit more rocky, which was, you could argue, I suppose, originally, the origins of new metal came from bands like the Beastie Boys. Obviously, Limp Bizkit, they're known for creating that genre, or even Rage Against the Machine, which I'm a big fan of. Yeah, I understand that, Jason. It is, and the sad thing is, Shade, is that music is so bad nowadays. I say to my partner now and again, you see teenagers, aspiring goths or aspiring rockers or whatever, they're going around wearing Guns N' Roses t-shirts, Nirvana t-shirts, and it's just really sad that there's actually no one decent around anymore, where kids, teenagers, have got to wear band t-shirts, which are what, 30 years old, 40 years old. Jamie C, that's a total tune. It is. Music is diabolical. I compare the music industry today, like the film industry, absolutely terrible. So bad that we watch films from the 90s, even 80s sometimes, because there isn't anything particularly worth watching. We watched the film Civil War the other day, and it's all hyped up and everything, and that's what new films seem to be. You watch it, and it's just pretty much low quality acting, not much budget in the film, and it just seems really bad today. Yeah, you're probably right, Asbestos. There is a lot of music being produced today, and it's easier today than it ever has been to produce your own music. So definitely a mass influx of artists coming out, and you're probably right what you're saying. It's more about filtering out the nonsense to actually find something decent. Yeah, I agree with you, Shade. Auto tune stuff is just terrible. I mean, like I've been saying, I've listened to the punk rock MBA, and he's a rap fan himself. He's hip hop fan himself, and you listen to some of the rap music nowadays, and it is just laziness. It is terrible. It just sounds like Cher's Believe. It sounds like that, but for an entire song rather than just the choruses or whatever. Jamie, you know what? I was brought up with the Beatles, so yeah, yeah, a fairly big Beatles fan, I suppose. But that's probably nostalgia more than anything. I don't know, Shade. I mean, hip hop, it was okay. Good beats sometimes. I suppose Cypress Hill is technically class. Yeah, I suppose rap hip hop type stuff. You also got this old school hip hop group called Ugly Duckling, who my all friends used to listen to, which wasn't too bad. And Eminem, you know what? I think Eminem, he's got a case of verbal diarrhea which doesn't end. I'm actually surprised Eminem is still a thing today, and it's really weird to talk about rock music just now. How even teenagers there are still listening to Eminem. Is like this bloke is old. So I bought Eminem's Real Slim Shady cassette tape when it came out around 98, 99, and it's surprising, remarkable how he's still a thing today. Yeah, Jamie. So I'm not sure where Ugly Duckling was from, but early 2000s, my friend Alex was listening to Ugly Duck. Verbal diarrhea is that shade. You know what? I do like a bit of rap if it's done properly. I don't mind it from time to time. It's not bad, but you can't help but wonder. These people have got far too much to say in a short space of time. So how many words do you want to put into a song which lasts 3 or 4 minutes? What's that? Marshall Maverick's daughter. I'm not sure who she is, to be honest. Uh, I think the last time I took Eminem seriously was probably going back to what's the album? Early 2000s. It was Curtain Call, I think it was called. It had like a red curtain on the front. It had some really good songs on it. And around that time, he also did a song with D12 called My Band, which was really cool. Yeah, so Scandinavian metal, it's mainly black metal where it used to be. It's like Finland and Sweden was always famous for black metal. I'm not sure if that's the case today, but bands like Mayhem, I'm pretty sure they were Finnish. You know, when I started getting into metal myself, every now and again in Krang, which I used to read back then in Metal Hammer magazine, every now and again you'll hear some sort of church or something was burnt down by Satanists listening to black metal. Yeah, I've heard of Entombed. We all had a Cypress Hill phase to chill out to. Yeah, it was Temples of Boom Part 3 was the Cypress Hill album I had. My brother actually, years ago, it would have been the late 90s, actually seen Eminem live, and it was Cypress Hill who was supporting them at the time. And obviously, Cypress Hill was synonymous with weed. Not my thing, and not my brother's thing, but yeah. So Krang TV channel isn't a thing anymore. I don't have Sky or yeah, not really gone out my way to actually look for it because you know my era was new metal and obviously new metal died out a long time ago now. Progressive metal. Progressive metal, yeah, I see what you mean. So very long-winded songs, a bit like prog rock, progressive rock from the 70s, only in a metal type of form. Yeah, obviously, thrash metal. I suppose Slayer would be your biggest commercial thrash band, and I suppose Metallica, really, in the early days, was a thrash band with their first few albums. What's it? Kill 'Em All was Metallica's first album, and yeah, I'm pretty sure that album had Dave Mustaine on it, and then he got kicked out, and he's been bitter about it ever since. Talking about sympathy for destructions and stuff with his Countdown to Extinction album, which was actually not a bad album. First concert was John Mayer and Ben Folds. Ben Folds 5. I like a bit of Ben Folds 5. Early stuff. What album was it called? It had a pink cover. Uh, but the first track on that album was some Dwarf. I've not listened to it for years. Yeah, to be honest, Asbestos, I'm not sure what crossover thrash is, but Journey, Def Leppard, and Steve Miller Yavuli. You know what? I've only actually just taken notice about Def Leppard. I didn't even know where they were British. I'm pretty sure they're either from Birmingham or Newcastle in the UK, either one or the other. And yeah, I read a little while ago their drummer, who's obviously a one-armed drummer, got attacked in America a little while back, literally doing nothing. But yeah, growing up, every now and again I'd see a Def Leppard album, and I just assumed they were American. I'm not sure why, but I also thought their album Hysteria, the artwork on it looked a lot like Iron Maiden style stuff. Ice T, Ice T. I think the only Ice T song I know of, I'm a film in the '90s called Tank Girl, which was based on a comic series. And I'm pretty sure Ice-T played a character in it called Booger, who was like a kangaroo hybrid. And yeah, that's it. Thinking about Def Leppard's now, their most famous song is "Pour Some Sugar on Me," which isn't actually a bad song, really poppy though. What year did you see Guns N' Roses live? Was it the years where Axel turned up about 5 hours late and he started riots? Or is it recently where he's behaving himself? Oh, I see. Yeah, I was right, Jamie. It was the kangaroo. Yeah, I love Tank Girl. Actually got my partner to watch it a couple of years ago, and it's such a hidden gem. But sadly, when that film came out, I rented it when it came out at the time. I loved the cover of it. It did so bad at the time. I just think Tank Girl was totally released at the wrong time. Obviously, nowadays, in the past, say, 15 years, it's superhero after superhero film. They're two a penny nowadays, but when that was released, it wasn't such a thing. Yeah, I've seen bits and pieces of Guns N' Roses live nowadays. They do tour a hell of a lot nowadays. Like they, bit like Green Day. It's like they don't seem to not tour. Status Quo, cool man. Yeah, Status Quo. That's an old band. Good band. I think they were even around in the '60s. Status Quo. Yeah, I think they were. They actually played Woodstock alongside Jimi Hendrix. Status Quo. I'm pretty sure they did. I might be wrong. So yeah, Axl Rose is better. He's obviously sober and everything, and he's cleaned himself up. But he reminds me, he looks a little bit like the singer from Simply Red. I'm not sure what his name is, but let's just say Axl Rose hasn't aged well, because he hasn't. And yeah, let's just be thankful he no longer runs around on stage in hot pants. So Guns N' Roses, yeah, I've seen the other day they're actually putting a new album together, and obviously their last proper album as a full band with the original members in it was the Spaghetti Incident, and apparently it's a flop at the time. But I thought it was a good covers album myself. Whoa, Bark at the Moon tour, that was like 1982, wasn't it? Big Hucknall. I'm not. Is Motley Crue still a thing, or are they still together? I know Ozzy is literally just planning his last ever show at Birmingham. But yeah, Ozzy Osbourne's first solo album wasn't it Blizzard of Oz and Embark at the Moon was the second solo album he did. Obviously, at the time in America, you had Satanic Panic, so Ozzy was caught up in that, especially when he's eating rubber bats on stage, which the media had a field day out of at the time. Saxon, yeah, I've heard of Saxon. What were they? Late '70s, early '80s? I was watching a bit of an Iron Maiden documentary the other day. I've liked Iron Maiden for years. To be honest, I've not really uh listened to their last few albums. I think it was the last album I bought was The Final Frontier, and I bought on vinyl when it came out, probably about 10 years ago. But some didn't sound right, and I'm not sure why it was, but I just didn't enjoy it that much. But when I first got into Iron Maiden, it was Brave New World just came out, and that was Bruce Dickinson's return for several years because you had Blaze Bailey, which some people didn't like. Personally, I thought Blaze Bailey wasn't a bad Maiden singer. Okay. Blizzard of Oz was his debut solo album, Diary of a Madman. Yeah, you know, I do listen to a bit of Ozzy on and off. There's a couple of songs I like on the Osmosis albums, like Perry Mason's a good song, and I Just Want You's another good one. And there's another track on Osmosis called Thunder. Can't think what it's called. I think it's track 5. Can't think what they're called, but good. Not a bad album, Osmosis. Jamie, you seem a guy I'd actually hang out with. Well, I don't know. What can I say? I'm going red. I'm quite a boring person in real life. Actually, I just got an interest in music. I was saying earlier on, my preferred era of music is like the late 70s, that new wave era, and 80s. But I've always been into music, and if I was on a talent program, I'd likely say to the judges, I've always wanted to be a singer ever since I was little. So yeah, I'm actually quite boring. I paint Warhammer miniatures in my spare time and drink milk and make my videos pretty much, and that's about it. I don't really do much. Next video, when video games meet music. Well, to be fair, Jamie, if you watch some of my older videos, the intro music was done by myself playing guitar. I'm actually a guitarist in yeah, I suppose a lot of guitarists, any musician has got a big interest in the music to start with. Yeah, like I said, I'm got a lot of knowledge about a lot of things, but I suppose I'm boring. I suppose I'm not sure. Yeah, you know what? I think my fascination of milk actually come from the film Leon the Professional with John Reno, which came out in the 90s as well, with young Natalie Portman. And obviously, if you've seen that film, Leon drinks a lot of milk, and yeah, I've drunk milk for years, so my teeth are okay. Obviously, it's good for calcium, that type of thing. I think. Yeah. So yeah, so if we got any guitarists there, the guitar I've got at the moment, I've had for a couple of years, it needs repairing, is an Epiphone. Uh, what's I got? Epiphone Les Paul Special Edition, which is a really nice guitar, but the trouble is where the jack input is, uh, soldering inside needs, well, resoldering. I did it a little while back. It was okay, but it's obviously come unstuck, so I need to solder it or at least get someone to do it. It's a really nice guitar in black. I've also got a Yamaha electroacoustic as well. But to be honest, I don't really play it much these days. I think I've just gone into painting miniatures more than anything for now. I like showing off my models, and this here is a bad boy I'm currently working on. I've been on this one for about a month, and not sure if you can see the colours a bit, but I spent a long time, yeah, about a month painting this one up. But that's how bored I am. I sit down and I dip my brush into various paints, and that's it. BC Rich Kerry King, that's pretty heavy sounding. Probably I knew Ibanez style sound. If it's Kerry King, then it's gonna have a couple of humbuckers in it. It's gonna have a beefy sound, I'd imagine. BC Rich. So anyway, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be off in a minute. I think Japanese made Jackson. Yeah, cool man. I don't really know too much about Japanese guitars. Ibanez, I'm pretty sure. Is it Ibanez, which is Japanese? I'm not sure. So, anyways, I'm going to call it a night in about 2 minutes. So, really, if anyone's got, hello, Lawrence, how you doing? Literally, Lawrence, just about to call it a night. It's 25 past 2 here in the UK, and I'm very tired, or I'm getting that way. So yeah, literally gonna be off in 2 minutes. So before I do go, is there anything anybody here wants to see a setup guides? And before I go, let me just remind you all that PayPal donations, I asked for it in my videos, in comments as pins. I just put it towards the channel. And yeah, I'm always grateful for PayPal donations. In fact, that's the wrong one. In fact, what I do, I discourage anyone send in supers because YouTube tend to take away most of that. So what I'm going to do is just copy this direct PayPal, and if anyone wants to say thanks, you can send donations to PayPal. So obviously, I know a lot of people wouldn't want to do it, but just want to show a bit of appreciation what I do on my channel. I put a lot of time and work into it and research. So shade here in the UK, no, it's 25 past 2 in the morning. Uh, but like I say, it's a bit hard on live streams because like I keep saying I've got a quite a big audience in the States, and obviously time differences. I've got an audience here in the UK, and if I do it too late, it means my UK audience is gonna miss out because they're in bed or whatever. But if I do it too early, then the majority, which is my American audience, it's not going to see it. So it's a little bit complicated when to actually do these live streams. So RetroPie Shade, I've actually done it. Let me. Uh, if you're interested in learning how to do bear with me a sec, my friend. If you're interested at all in RetroPie, here's the link for setting up RetroPie, and that was on a Raspberry Pi 400. I think I did that guide for. So I also want to say thanks to Jaden Clark for your donation. I really appreciate that. That's really nice of you. Thank you. So yeah, really appreciate donations. Like I say, really I do. I'm really grateful for it. Like I said, I do put a lot of time and yeah, a lot of time in editing into doing my videos. And I'm always grateful for donations, always will be. I even got the respect to actually comment back to people on my channel as well, where some don't bother. Nice one, thanks, Asbestos. Obviously, some usernames are different to names which in real life. So yeah. So really, you know what? I'm going to give it another 5 minutes. Come up with some ideas, people. What is it you want to see from the channel? Do you want to see some more gameplays? Yeah, you know what? Heavy Instinct. Raspberry Pi 5 came out recently. Uh, but personally, I'd argue they're too small. You need something more robust. If you want a serious retro gaming machine, I agree. I don't think Raspberry Pi can do it. I think when Raspberry Pi came out, it was amazing at the time, and I think that's partly because of the size of it being a credit card size. But then you've had Odroid come out since, and I think Odroid aren't bad microcomputers, as I call them, because they're tiny computers. But I think nowadays, I think there is a hell of a lot better out there than Raspberry Pi, but that could be me. Yeah, cheers, Shade. Thanks for joining. Nice one, and stay retro. So, can anybody here give me an indication of a good time for you? I presume a lot of you here are in America. So, for example, what time is it right now in America? I know America is a big place and there's different time zones, but yeah, it's not just me then. So, okay, so really, I'm going to be off in about a minute, I think. And what I'm going to do is just ask again, is there anything anyone wants to see me do on the channel before I call it a night? Okay, so started about an hour earlier. So, yeah, as you know, well, as you're totally aware, America's a big place and obviously time differences. So, yeah, maybe in the future I might actually start a little bit earlier, and I'm happy to stay for a couple of hours, some like a lot of streamers do. And right, okay. So what I'll do is probably do another live stream. I quite enjoyed this tonight. It's actually been pretty good, talking about music, that type of thing. I'm a retro gaming channel, but I got a big interest in music. So yeah, what I'll do, I'll probably leave it a couple of days. I'll probably do another live stream because every now and again I'm always getting new subscribers, and not necessarily everyone's seen live streams by me. Tutorials on source ports for Doom, if you know anything about that. What do you mean by source ports? Let's have a look. Doom. Doom, the original Doom, it's been hacked to death in the past. There's so many different people's versions of it. Source port is port of the source code for the Doom engine. Yeah, I wasn't far from being right then. What I just said, it's something to do with Doom engine, and I suppose this is all of your Doom ports, which are the most famous ones. So what you're asking for is maybe to create your own Doom game using the Doom engine. Is that what you're asking? Yeah, I see what you mean. To be honest, asbestos is not really something I've looked into, but it looks interesting. Okie dokes. Right, I'm gonna call it a night. So yeah, thanks for everyone watching. Like I said, I'll be back in a couple of nights, more than likely. So anyways, until next time, stay retro.